Hey everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. I'm Josh, SalvationsElite. To my right is Bash_Bo3 Sam. And to our farthest right, your left, is Rex, ShadyNero. Guys, CDL Paris is in the books. We're doing power rankings today, and Scump teasing a little bit of retirement, maybe, question mark? And we're going to go through it all. But before anything else, I gotta ask, guys, what's going on?
Josh, you know, I'm feeling like an ice cube that's just met an ice rink. That's the love of my life. That is part of who I am. And I'm just now experiencing my full potential.
Wow.
What I could be if I just added a little more water, a little more pizzazz, a little bit of cold to make me into the ice rink that I truly am.
Man, you're the best ice rink I know.
Thank you.
Wow. Sam, how are you doing?
Doing good. I like that.
More of an ice cube or an ice rink?
Probably more of an ice cube right
Okay,
now.
all right. Still developing.
Maybe when we do hottest operators, there'll be an ice rink, you know?
Okay.
I'll throw some water on it.
I know, guys. Bad news out there for you hottest operators fans. We had Dallas held the hopes of all you hottest operators stands, and they did not come through. They didn't.
I thought it was going to happen. I thought it was. And
I know. There was a lot on the line. There was hottest operators on the line. There was like COD caster opinions on the line.
There was.
And we don't get it now. What a shame.
Shoot.
Now we're gonna have to figure something out here because we got another 2 weeks to another tournament. So it's like I don't know. But obviously, it's for all of you guys out there. You can find us again on Twitter, SalvationsElite. Sam is Bash_Bo3 and Rex ShadyNero. And you can listen to where podcasts can be listened to, of course. Twitter.
Always.
Twitter. I don't know about Twitter.
Oh my word.
But Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube per usual. You can find us there. Drop a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll be getting back on that train of reading them next week. So be on the lookout. Drop a review, and we'll be reading them.
Nice.
I guess real quick update on the fantasy league again this week. The top score of 326.95 points belongs to Caden. Caden with the squad of Skies, Priesta, Kleenex, Mac, and Havoc. Took home the community title this week.
That's a good squad.
Yep. Connor, Jake Belling, top, second, and third. So shout out. And yeah, it was tough.
Let's just go through top six. I'm going to go through top six, you know.
Top six?
Who
look at that. Top 6, Husky caught at 4, Stig at 5, and Risk It on the Underdog by ShadyNero at 6.
Sixth place.
Wait, what was your team? Wait. In 7th place was Icy. So shout out Icy.
Yeah.
Major Maniac, Awakening, Kleenex, Mac, and Medals for ShadyNero.
Yeah,
Quals.
literally picked all like the young, like new talent.
Yeah, you
Mac,
really did.
Kleenex,
Nice.
Awakening. Then went for Medals and Major Maniac. Literally was risking it on the underdog. Like no one knows.
Nice.
Went for it. And it paid off.
It
Because
did.
those new people, those young people, they're taking over. And
I
you
was
can see it
so
happening.
tilted. I was so tilted because I made the league like right before I uploaded the podcast, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna put in my lineup and then edit it on Wednesday night, and I totally forgot to edit it, so I had just some hot garbage team, and it was like I just pressed buttons. I think I ended up having like Bance and Chino, and so it did not go my way to say the least. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. Obviously, I mean, a lot going on in the world, but we gotta head right into the news. So without further ado, let's head into the news.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
Bang. Oh, baby.
Man.
Still getting used to that
So
one.
cool.
Let's go, baby.
Technology.
I know, a lot of technology, but we got a lot of news this week, man. I mean, we didn't really talk about challengers the past 2 weeks because since the whole delay, the challengers happened the previous week, so we didn't have anything last week, and so kind of a weird schedule. But this week, we're back at it again with the Paris challengers, and would you look at that? Atlanta FaZe has officially found their groove. I mean, they are on fire the past basically 6 weeks or a month.
I think so.
They've won 3 of the last 4 now because they won Seattle, Minnesota, and then
And Paris.
And then they got second in the Challengers Cup, and then they won first. They've actually won the last 3 open bracket Challengers events that weren't the Cup.
Sheesh.
But I mean, second in the Cup is no shameful finish last weekend as well. So, they've been on fire the whole weekend again. I mean, it's every week we say it's insane how consistent a lot of these AM teams have been with like who finishes near the top. Because again, you got FaZe Academy at 1. You've got Triumph, which again is Nagafin Royalty fellow DevPD and Standy. Then you got West Star, which was Glow Frosty's Appius, Spoof, Super, and Willet at 3rd. Then you've got the Old Men, which was the whole Parasite's new crew here with Parasite, Gunjar, Exotic Fire, and Paul X. Then Profisi Squad 5th, 6th, Delo Squad 5th, 6th, and then 6 Gear and UIU top 8. So the same names once again. And like you go back and like, I mean, you look at last week where like Delo's team won the Challengers event, or the Cup last week with took. I mean, they took home the big cash at 10K, but FaZe came in 2nd. That was UIU 3rd, Get Busy 4, where that was Parasite's team. So, it's just every week I'm mind blown with how consistent the open scene has been. When everyone clamors about how inconsistent online COD is, but I mean at the same time the AM scene, it's pretty
literally
consistent.
the same teams are getting top 4 every single time.
Yeah, I mean it feels like out of like those top 8 teams, at least 6 of them are in the top 6 every single time.
Also, shout out to the APAC region, Renegades. Since March 28th of 2020, they have been first.
That is insane.
So
that seems
every
impossible.
single time.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 events where they've gotten first.
Yeah, because that's Fida, Swifty, Setsi, Crimza, and Pred.
And I think their total winnings are around $100. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding.
Let me check the checkbook. 4 cents.
Which is, all jokes aside, it kind of sucks that there's not a lot of cash going into the APAC region right now. But shout out to those guys though. I mean they're paying rent. So
barely.
And then the European scene, Team War getting first place.
Back at it again.
More, man.
Singularity's in the top 3, and then there was a Team BDS that got 2nd.
Oh yeah, BDS, yeah.
So I don't know, still consistency over there in the European scene as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you had to pick one open one, who do you think is the best AM team in the world right now? Do you think it's still War?
I feel like it's got to be War since like you consider Singularity came over to
North America and dominated. And then War beat them when they got back.
And then War's been beating them ever since they got back. However, obviously
a lot can change.
Things have been evolving. So like maybe FaZe Academy is number 1.
They've been really consistent the past 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, FaZe Academy wasn't like that good before, like when Singularity was running the table.
Yeah.
And now FaZe is winning all of the North American events. So
true.
I don't know. FaZe has definitely gotten better, but you can't say that War and Singularity haven't gotten better as well. So
definitely.
Yeah. If you had to put your bets on one team, who would you put your bets on for the best AM team in the world?
Honestly, I'd put mine on FaZe.
Really?
I might say War, just looking at historical, but you make a great argument where it literally could be FaZe. That's just going off of historical.
And there's a pretty good chance we're never gonna know this year.
Yeah, which is sad.
Which really sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we're probably not gonna have another LAN. I mean, the chance of us having another LAN amateur event is basically next to none. Yeah. I mean,
considering we don't even know if champs can be on LAN.
Like with just the pro teams, how would they ever justify having another 150, 200 people there to do some type of AM thing? It just seems impossible. So that's that's gotta be so frustrating for those teams who are like just looking to make some cash and like their only hope is the cups. But it's like even then it's not like tons of cash. Yeah. So it's like, man, that's gotta be so frustrating. I can't imagine. But yeah, I mean like because like even in Europe, like the cups, the European team takes home $8,000 for first. So I mean like that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But I mean, like when you consider like the beginning of the year when like it was like 100,000 for first place.
I think so.
For the Minnesota Open.
Yeah, it was like it was like 250,000 total.
And they would have had
I
at
think-
least one or two more of those events throughout the year if all things would have gone to plan. So it's like the amount of AM scene support is just so much worse than it was or would have been, and it wasn't even that good going into it in the first place. So it's tough to be an AM right now in the COD world. So you guys who are on the up and up, maybe it's a blessing in disguise that you haven't made it to the elite of the elite AMs yet. You know, because they're kind of getting screwed out here. So who knows? You know, why not? Why not? But moving forward, let's talk in the news a little bit here about some of the pros and their frustrations with the game. I mean, we didn't really know where else to put this type of like news. It was like, I guess it's news,
Sort
right?
of, yeah.
But I mean, it's been kind of a theme it seems like it's been even more ignited the past maybe month to really hate on Modern Warfare. I mean, we're in that time of year where like we said, I mean, by now we'd have a lot of news about the new COD and we just haven't had it yet. So it's like,
yeah. Except for that one leak of like a possible map that wasn't fully done yet.
Yeah, some like pre-alpha non-coded map or like mapped, whatever it is. I don't even know what it was. But pros are, you know, giving their opinions on the game at this point. I mean, like Temp, Slacked, I mean Octane multiple different times, Slasher, and this kind of
we've always known Octane.
Yeah, well, we saw it more. It felt like pros were emboldened, like even today, because it came out that Scump got fined for his opinion on Modern Warfare from the COD ranking video that Huntsman put out.
Well, he knew he was getting fined, didn't he? Say that he's like,
I think he's probably joking about it.
I might get fined for this, but you know, he said he'd get do it anyway.
It is funny, yeah, because then like you wonder how many pros have been fined for just little things. Octane's probably racked up.
Well, yeah, so that was the thing. So like 24/7 or CDL Intel was like joking with Octane. He was like, you know, best KD, most kills, and most fines, leading the league in fines. And Octane just like gave some like smile emoji or whatever, like basically true.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, Temp. I thought Temp's take was kind of interesting. Like he said, only in Modern Warfare can a top 5 player drop something that bad, like currently / at the time a top 5 player. Legit, any other COD, he would never throw something up like that because Celium went 14-35. Was that in the Dom?
That was in the domination
when they got absolutely smoked. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Is that like what do you think about that?
I mean, you would think it has to be true to see Celium, someone who is so talented, to even possibly.
We know how good he is.
We know how good he is. To even put up stats 14-35 is horrendous.
I mean, like Pristo was like triple negative in that game, and
no, yeah, it's crazy. And there is something to say too about this game. I know we've had this conversation before where when streaks aren't a thing, deaths don't matter. So
as much.
Obviously
they matter.
Yeah, obviously they matter. So maybe you're seeing these guys when they get frustrated, not afraid,
just flooding,
just to throw their life and flood. That could be a thing too. But
I mean, it's definitely a thing. I mean, like, because like, what's the punishment of you just ego channeling, like in wasting your life? It's a 2-second spawn delay, and you're just hoping to get lucky with a spawn, or like, you know, you get lucky with the headshot or whatever, the beamer, and you're trying to break that. It's like good luck on Hackney too, where the spawns can get narrowed like that. I do agree that I think it's probably the score streaks that have the biggest effect. It's just like pros just don't care as much about wasting their lives because it's not feeding the other team's streaks, which is definitely like a factor. Like in Black Ops 4, if you're feeding a guy 6 kills, 7 kills, suddenly they're dropping hellstorms all over you guys, and like good luck ever having a chance.
Yeah.
So it's
So can confirm it wasn't from the domination.
Ooh.
Priesthood was 10-28.
Okay, that would make sense.
It was from the domination.
No, it was not.
I don't think it was
I
even
didn't think
from
it was.
the
Like
series.
that wouldn't make sense. They clearly gave up. But okay.
Well,
14-36. It was against Empire. It was against Empire on Gunrunner.
Yeah, they didn't play Subliners.
On Gunrunner Hardpoint.
That's what. Yeah, that's right. They played Empire. I remember. That's what I remember seeing then.
But I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, 14-36 for Celium on Gunrunner.
Or Hardpoint, which like, and then the next map he started popping off, and I was like, "What's going on here?"
No, yeah, like props to them for winning the series. After doing that.
Well, yeah, Celium went 14-5 in the Search and Destroy game 5. So classic FaZe in their game 5s. You know, it's like, yo, don't let FaZe get to a game 5. They're gonna clutch. But I mean, overall, it's just a bunch of pros were tweeting about how much they're just pissed about COD and just done with it. I mean, in my opinion, it's definitely not a good COD, but like, I don't hate it as nowhere to the extent that these guys do, but I'm not playing it 6 to 12 hours a day. So like, that's the difference probably.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right.
Like, these guys are playing for their livelihood, you know, quote unquote. And if they're looking bad and they don't get on a team, they're gonna blame the game for making them look bad, and then, you know, it's just a spiraling effect.
Well, for any player who's not playing well, you're better off just torching the game as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And shifting as much blame on a Modern Warfare as you possibly can.
Trying to keep that stock up.
Yeah, exactly. But the last piece of news we'll talk about before we get into the reaction and the power rankings is basically the Karma's little codcast. You know, he was on the podcast like right before the tournament last week, I think on Thursday,
I think so.
and he was kind of talking about like Seattle's his whole experience with Seattle, his retirement, and you know, whether or not he would come back, and he made it pretty clear he has no intention of coming back, even if Black Ops Cold War would be the best game of all time. But yeah, I mean, Karma did actually talk about like potentially coaching, and he didn't like shut it down. He seemed like if the right option kind of showed up or like presented itself, he'd be interested. Yeah. He did mention like the Crowder route and like still stream and do some content while doing coaching, and maybe being an assistant to another coach, you know, and helping in that way. So it seemed like he wasn't ruling that out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't see Karma as a coach. Because he just doesn't care. Like, I mean, as you can tell, he's the type of person when he doesn't care, he really doesn't care. So if he were to be a coach, I think he'd really be like an apathetic coach. Like, he really would just be like, whatever, guys. You know? I don't think he would be able to add a lot of input, to be honest.
I'm not exactly sure, like, would he really be dedicated to like going back and watching, you know, 3-4 hours of VODs and watching scrims and...
No way.
Right. So I think that's why he mentioned more that he might be more interested in doing like an assistant coaching job in some way where he can, you know, be there for like search and destroy and talk things through and, you know, help the big overarching strategy, but not like have to do the day-to-day management type stuff.
Definitely.
Was Karma ever the strategist for team? Like,
I mean, I don't know.
I don't see it.
He definitely was.
Will he maybe get an offer to be a coach? Of course he will. He's Karma. They're doing it for branding reasons, but not because he's going to be some great coach. I don't think.
Probably.
Yeah. Like
I honestly think Karma could come back and still be a player. If he ends up liking the next COD, he'd be like, you know what? I'll come back. But I think he's just really so fed up that like he's going to play the game that he loves to play. This is the type of person he is, and he's going to become really good at whatever game he loves playing, which right now is Rust. That's what he's going to do. If he ends up liking the COD so much, he's going to go and become really good at it and try and go pro again.
Yeah, it's just like, can COD really grip Karma in a way that'll make him want to get on, like past January? You know, like I don't know. I'm not sure if that's in Karma's veins anymore. You know, so I guess we talked about a lot about this last, like what, 2 podcasts ago. So we can keep it at that for now. But do you want to save the Scump discussion for the end of the podcast, or you want to do it now?
I don't care.
Doesn't matter to me.
That's fine. We'll save it for the end. Let's go into segment 2, which is our reaction and our power rankings. Let's get it.
How apropos.
Who is the best in the game? So today we are going to be going over the power rankings and the reaction kind of to the whole event. I mean, obviously, the Mutineers highlight the whole event as a whole. We all went in as non-believers. Mm-hmm. We all went in as non-believers.
Very true.
And they definitely proved us wrong.
I had them not even getting out of groups. So
you had Ravens winning, Sam. So
hey,
make sure to remind everyone.
There's a reason.
Great pick, Sam. Great. I'm glad.
I will stand behind that. There was a reason that
Yeah.
happened.
I mean, they did say like a close family member died, and so they weren't mentally in it this week. So, you know, they have an excuse at least for not performing well. But hopefully everything's good with their families as well.
Absolutely.
But I mean, yeah, I just didn't think they could do it. I mean, I didn't see them beating Empire in that first round, or I guess their second round matchup out of their groups, and they made that happen. Came out as the winner of their group, and then Empire had to play FaZe, and so things kind of fell right back into when you win your group, you put yourself into a good position to succeed, and that's exactly what happened. Mutineers didn't get to play against the Subliners, right, and then took them out. So it's just like. Then you get to a game 5, or you get to a championship versus FaZe, and they put them to bed.
Which is interesting. Just highlighting that Subliners game. Well, I just lost my standings, but that Subliners game going into grand finals, that was a close game 5, if I'm not mistaken, between Subliners. And
maybe.
And Mutineers.
Like 6-4, right?
Wait, Subliners and Mutineers?
Yes.
1 minute.
To get to the grand finals.
Yeah, it was a 6-3 Arc Love.
6-3, okay. So, you know, at least they put up more
reverse
of a fight.
sweep.
Yeah, at least they put up more of a fight than FaZe did. Just for
and the Dom was crazy close, too. That was like the Hackney where like it looked like New York was about to come back and make the comeback happen, and then Mutineers put out the fire right at the end.
Yeah. Which, I suppose the name of the game for this event was Game 5s. Like, holy cow.
Yeah, the amount of Game 5s. It's ridiculous. I mean,
insane.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Game 5s this event, which
that's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, there aren't that many matches, so it's pretty crazy. Like more than one out of every 3 we're going to Game 5s. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty insane.
Yeah. But yeah, Mutineers, are they
legit?
Are they
onliners?
Are they undisputed best in the game?
For me, I think they are.
Wow,
I can't
giving away your power rank.
Oh, I thought we were talking about it
now.
I mean, yeah, well, we can talk about it.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Fire away. They are best in the game. What are your thoughts?
I mean, they're definitely in the top, definitely in the top 3. You got to give that to them.
Yeah, I mean, after the teams they've beaten the last 2 events.
And I know they haven't played on LAN. They might be onliners, but that's the league we're in right now. So
yeah, that is the reality of the situation. Is we are on an online league.
Yeah,
and Florida had a great tweet where it was like people are surprised that they built the team around, to win online, and people are like, that's illegal.
COD goes online, built team to go online.
That's illegal.
COD community.
You can't do that. But
yeah,
they played their cards right, and you got to give it to them.
Man, but what if COD Champs is on LAN?
But I hope it is.
Not on
it's
LAN?
Probably going to be on LAN. I would imagine.
You would think so,
right? It's got to be on LAN.
You'd hope so.
I hope so.
I don't know.
I saw
really
Clay
don't
trolling
know.
as if it wasn't, but he said he has no idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, how about this question? I presented this on Twitter, and it was very different results. If Champs was this weekend, coming up 5 days from now, played on LAN, are you choosing the Mutineers as the favorites?
It's so hard to say.
Yeah.
It seems
really
impossible
is.
to choose.
How do you
pick against them?
Because part of the thing too is you got to imagine some of these teams are scrambling to figure out what's wrong in the online world. So if they were going to play this weekend on LAN, would it be the same simply because they're just not in the best state, or would is online COD truly 100% a completely different game than LAN, which is kind of hard. What we were just going over in the news segment was with the AM scene, we're seeing consistent results from LAN to online
and week to week online,
and week to week. So I don't think you can completely 100% throw out online. However,
I don't know if they're consistent results. I mean, Atlanta FaZe only got first place once on LAN, and the rest of the time they got top 8.
Oh yeah, we were just saying the AM scene though. We were just saying the AM scene.
Yeah,
that's what we were just emphasizing. I think the pro scene's a whole different conversation because the pros can literally game plan against opposing team strengths and weaknesses. Like in the AM scene, talent, like there's less strategy and more talent. Like the talent wins, because you don't have the time or the coaches or the ability to know who you're going to play next. So you don't have the ability to like go out there and scout their S&Ds and and figure out what map vetoes to pick against their best and worst maps. But in the pro league, coaches are paid $50,000 a year or more to do that. And I think that's why we've seen so much variation in Search and Destroy this year, because teams have gotten really good at hard countering certain team strategies. And like Atlanta FaZe, like on Gunrunner, bro, Abezy goes in the little vent every round.
Oh my god.
Dude,
Celium always goes forest
there.
or turbine. Celium always goes there.
He might have a bed in that vent.
You
Bro, it's
got a permanent
crazy.
residence.
I mean, how have teams not? I'm surprised. I mean, he does lead the league. I think he's like by far league leader in getting first blooded.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he also might be the league leader in first bloods, which would only make sense.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just overall, there's a lot of different ways that, like, I think we've seen London do a really good job of hard countering like OpTic Gaming this year, and hard countering FaZe and OpTic. I mean, and the Huntsmen and certain search and destroys. And I just think overall, like, those strategies play way into a way bigger effect, even then more than like some pro league in the past, because like there's less teams, and you can just focus your time on the certain teams that are going to be in your group heading into the week. And I think the preparation is just a really undervalued aspect of like the diversity of COD this year and how hard it's been to predict things.
Definitely.
I think you can tell just by the gameplay like that there are game plans set, like just the ways like they played that Dom completely differently than they played against other teams,
Yeah.
So like I think there's definitely like more strategy involved now, and you can see it's like noticeable when you're watching it, at least for me.
100%. I think so too. Like there's some of the weird like there's just certain teams that like they know they're like on Dom, you're gonna be able to flank more against this team. Some teams play way more conservatively and watch the flank, don't oversell for B flags, and like it just depends on the team. And like good teams with good coaching and like good preparation are gonna be able to identify those trends and hopefully create a pretty effective game plan. So I don't know. I mean, like that it's just underestimated X factor, I feel like, in a lot of series. Hardpoint's the only one where it's hard to counter, and so like I think that's like where the natural talent shows. I think that's the reason why like the Huntsmen are good. The Huntsmen and New York, they're good respawn teams, but they've been struggling in S&D lately, and because like there's just inherently more strategy in S&D versus the natural talent that is provided inside of Hardpoints.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, like, was there like first of all, like, who was your MVP of the tournament? Let's just talk about that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the MVP of the tournament for you guys? I mean, Pharaoh, Awakening, Skies. It's obviously one of those three.
Honestly, I'm thinking Skies. He surprised me. We always knew he was good, but this weekend I feel like I noticed him. I was like, wow, he has a big impact on his team.
Yeah.
It is pretty
He's
impressive.
always on that rotation. And he wins every gunfight, it feels like. I remember saying to myself, I'm watching the Empire series, I'm like, how is Skies doing? Like, how? I always be like, how? How did he kill him? Like, yeah, Skies is crazy.
Mm-hmm. He really is. I was going to say, it's impressive that we have really three people that could potentially be in talks. Pharaoh, Awakening, amazing 2 events so far. Skies, just this amazing solid AR. I feel like I would lean towards Skies probably, but Awakening 2 would be a very, very close second there.
Yeah.
But man, just solid, incredible performance from those guys.
Yeah, I'd probably say Skies as well. I mean, the slaying from Pharaoh, though, this event was nice. It's interesting for me is like I saw this post on Reddit. I'm like, it's true. Like Florida, they're willing to pull out 3 ARs way more than probably any other team in the league. And it's like they're playing to their strengths. I mean, they're letting they're letting Skies and Awakening and even Pharaoh pull out the M4s when they feel like they'll perform better with it. And instead of sticking to this hard really
you have to do one
this
AR.
has to be the meta on this map. This has to be the meta on this map, you know? They've been in at least my opinion playing more to their strengths, and like it's been working. Like I would imagine that more teams are going to probably test it out on other maps.
Mm-hmm. Was there ever GAs in regards to how many ARs and subs you can have? No,
Not in this game. No.
Because that would be really interesting too. Like you're like no one can have more than 2 AR or two M4s on the map. Like that would be insane GAs.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not putting it past
Yeah,
them.
no, I mean it's definitely possible. But yeah, no, you definitely feel like some teams are stuck in what is the correct meta for each map, when it's like, really, if it works for you, if 5 ARs work for your team and you win the game, who cares if you're running 5 ARs? If you're running 5 sniper rifles, whatever it is.
Hey, why not?
Whatever
Why not?
gets you the dub. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really good at like utilizing 3M4s on certain hills to either hold it or break it more effectively. And I think they're doing that a lot better than most teams right now, which is showing in how they're playing the game. So I think it's probably a combination of their talent, their internet, and their ability to play this new meta with like the metas with the weapons on certain hills. But obviously the internet was more of a joke than anything else. But I don't know. They are impressive.
They are
really, really impressive.
Really.
Overall. So, do you want to hop just straight into the power rankings at this point and start going through it here?
I feel like we should.
Yeah, we can.
I feel like we'll talk about.
We'll talk about a lot of these teams throughout that process.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
You know what's crazy to me is that we have all these like players are coming up out of challengers just kind of out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're like amazing. That makes me so skeptical of like maybe this is just like the online league, and now these kids are now just suddenly really good. Really, they are just like online warriors. Like Mac Melts, where did he come from? Awakening, why are all these people suddenly good when before they were nothing?
Again, the transition is definitely easier. I mean, we saw what happened to Shotzzy first weekend of the CoD League. We now see what he is now. I mean, he was so good.
But look at Havoc.
Now,
but Havoc's been around forever.
Yeah,
but he's never been on like a good team. He's always been around. People recognize
except for
his name,
Gen G last year.
He's never been like on a good team, and now all of a sudden he's just this amazing player, and you're like, what? Just how? You know, like I don't know.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say Havoc's been some amazing player. It's really more Pharaoh, Awakening, and Skies are just nuts.
Right, but Havoc is still playing. Major Maniac, same thing. Like no
Gen
one
G
saw
again last year though. Gen G was good. I mean, they finished second 3 times.
Okay. But I don't know. Major Maniac was never like a name that stood out, and now all of a sudden,
yeah, I mean last year Gen G was highlighted by Envoy, you know, and that whole squad. But
I should see Rex's face if Envoy ever comes out of Josh's mouth.
it's ridiculous, bro.
It's literally Josh's example for everything. I just like
Not my bad. You brought up Gen
All
G.
right. Let's go to the power ranking.
Okay, here we are.
Gosh.
All right, guys, here's a power ranking sheet. So it's way more professional than last time. I think we tried to make it look a little bit more clean than last time.
Yeah.
But we got our tier 1s here on the right side on the keys. If you guys are watching on YouTube, if you guys are listening, we'll try to talk it through a little bit too here as well. So we're gonna be going through. We got the teams numbered here. We're gonna put them into tiers. So if they're in the same tier, then it doesn't really necessarily qualify as the rank on the left side. It's kind of more, it's like, all right, tier 1 means, these teams are all in tier 1. Potentially you could clarify that you still think FaZe is a little bit better, but or whatever, insert team here who's better than what team in certain tiers. But long story short, we're going to go through this. So let's start at the bottom, of course. How much more fun is that?
A lot of
we
fun.
haven't done
Is this based on LAN or online?
This is based on what do you mean? If this
I get what you're saying though. I think we just have to go with the current state.
As if there's an online event.
Current state.
As if there's an online event tomorrow.
Yes.
And we're power ranking if there's a tournament with all 12 teams there tomorrow.
Okay.
We're power ranking them.
Yeah.
That's how we're looking at this, guys. Yeah. All right. So
start us off.
Yeah, let's start us off here. I mean, Sam, who do you have at the bottom?
Paris.
You got Paris.
I have Paris.
Okay.
I have seen nothing from these guys that makes me think otherwise. I've seen signs of life from Guerillas. I've seen signs of life from Ultra. I've seen signs of life from OpTic.
Yeah, the past month.
Past month, I have seen no signs of life from Paris.
Yeah,
And
they only shown signs of life at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and it's honestly depressing because I think they could have been a really cool team to talk about, where everyone at the beginning of the year thought they were just trashed, and they kind of came out and were like, well, okay, hey, here we are. We're actually pretty good. But no, I just think this current state right now, I think Paris is the bottom team right now.
I mean, yeah, is there... I mean, Rex, are you in the same boat? Do you agree?
Yeah, I'll probably put... There's only 2 matchups I would like to see with Paris. I'd like to see them play OpTic, and I would like to see them play Surge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and I just want to know what would happen. In my mind, Paris loses against Surge, but I don't know. Surge seemed to lose everything. So
yeah, and especially in a match, it doesn't matter.
That's literally going to be my match of the week. Whenever that happens, a Surge versus Paris matchup. That's literally, I'm going to be so amped to see that because they're like my 2 like lower teams. Like Surge never wins, but they're supposed to be kind of good based on players.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've got to agree as well. I don't know how. It's just like at this point, where is Paris going to improve? Mm-hmm. They have to make a roster change, right? But like, are they going to make a roster change? I don't know. I don't think they will. So we all have Paris at the bottom. Look at that.
We do.
Well, that was a unanimous decision. So let's go on to number 11 here. Move down the list. Again, we might be able to shuffle these things around based off like tiers, how this might play out. So yeah, who do you guys got at number 11 then here down at the bottom as well? I mean, there's obviously some pretty good candidates here. I mean, I'm imagining it's kind of between like Surge, OpTic, LA Guerillas, Toronto, maybe, depending on what you think of Toronto. Those are probably the teams they're looking at here. So who do you got 11?
This is going to be one where I'm not going to be entirely confident on the rankings, more of a tier system here. I'm going to put Surge. There is signs.
Hope. There's a little hope.
There's a little hope for them. But I don't know if I put them, even if I had someone else 11, I wouldn't put them above 10. For sure 10 or 11 for me for Surge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's not much more to say here besides they could make a run at champs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, will they ever be motivated enough to really get on this game, grind it out, and see what happens? Mm-hmm. It seems like they might just be taking their Hail Mary at champs at this point.
Absolutely.
I mean, Rex, where are you at with it?
I think I'm going to go with OpTic because now I'm between Surge and OpTic, but OpTic, they got the record for the worst loss in a hardpoint.
That was the Ultra. That was unfortunate.
Against the Ultra. Imagine if it was FaZe. Imagine if it was anybody that was like good. So like the fact that Ultra like smacked them, like OpTic has given up completely. They're done scrimming forever now.
So yeah, I mean that was part of it. Tej tweeted out, it got deleted, but he was like, "Yo, like screw GAs. Like, what's the point of playing with GAs?"
So part of me thinks Surge would actually beat OpTic now, just because Surge at least has like been through that. Now Surge is like just having fun, and OpTic is just pissed and like just suck. I mean, like they don't even want to be there.
Do you think they chalk GAs?
That would honestly make the league so much more interesting. If
they just start using auto attack sprint, they have Mercs I guess officially banned now, right? Mercs officially banned. But you use auto attack sprint, you start using all the GA'd guns.
5 smokes.
You start using the Grau because it's not banned. Like
that would be insanely.
You're using like the DLC weapons, like the Fennec or whatever, and
I would love to see that. I could watch all the bottom teams. Like, yeah, we all suck. Why don't we just use whatever we want? Just have some fun. Like that would actually games would actually be super.
If Slasher wants to stick it to IW, that's the way is to make the CoD League look unprofessional by them. By them just starting to use the things that they should have banned in the in-game playlist from the beginning.
Exactly.
So I guess if Slasher really wants to stick it to him, that might be the way to go.
I think that's what they should do.
That would be interesting.
That'd be so fun.
I mean, I'm down, but it might ruin their careers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it depends if the other teams lose to them or not.
Yeah, true. And like, with the other teams understand, they're like, we get it. Like.
Yeah. Well, if the other teams lose, then it's like,
That's tough.
I don't know. I think they should do it.
I mean, it would be so funny.
It would be
I
pretty
mean, there's a
fun.
world where you could see like Seattle and OpTic play without GAs just
I know,
to see what
that'd be
would
so
happen.
great. Yeah,
You know?
like let's let the bottom 4 teams do whatever the heck they want to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I can see that happening. You know, that'd be funny. I mean, I'm gonna put Surge there as well. I just feel like it's probably the same tier here for all of them. I'm gonna put OpTic. Well, who do you have? Who do you have at 10 then? Do you have OpTic?
I have OpTic at 10.
Yeah, I mean, Guerillas, Ultra, OpTic is kind of where I'm leaning here. Probably the next 3.
The only reason why I have Guerillas higher is because of how
The potential of what they look with Saints.
impressive that performance was at
Yeah, they made a run.
Minnesota. Or I think it was Minnesota, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My dumb. Yeah. Okay.
You're dumb, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
dumb. And the
Yeah,
story.
it was Minnesota. Okay.
How about you though? Because
Man, I'm pretty torn here. I feel like you kind of have to put OpTic, but I mean, it's like at the same time they're not that bad, right? I mean, they're not great, that's for sure. But like
again, they're one of those teams that showed signs of life. Again, was when they first
OpTic only won 1 map against Subliners and won 0 maps against Ultras. They lost twice in a row. And
oh
they
yeah,
lost
it was terrible.
pretty
It's just
easily.
weird how they when they first brought on Chino,
Seemed like they had improvement.
they had improvement, but then they just kind of fall back into their slump. So maybe they're just infinitely stuck in bottom 3.
I mean, if
because the whole
Gunless
team
was
doesn't care anymore. Like
if Gunless was to go anywhere, it would be OpTic, right?
for who?
For Chino.
What about TJ?
I think
I feel like
TJ.
Chino belongs on that team more than TJ does.
At least Chino wants to be there. Like
True.
like TJ is just TJ and Dashy. Honestly, both they're like they don't care.
Dashy's
They're the
just
reason
like
they
so
suck.
good though.
Let's be
individually.
honest. They're like those guys are the reason that those guys don't want to be there. They don't care.
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, Tej doesn't care, and like Chino has not been great, and before that it was
Chino
JCap.
hasn't been great, but at least Chino wants to be there.
I mean, true.
JCap didn't want to be there.
But I
and
want to be an
wasn't
NFL
playing
player. I'm not, and I'm not playing in the NFL.
Yeah, but TJ and Dashy don't want to be there, and they suck. Chino is not like so bad that he doesn't.
Right.
You know,
No, I get that. I
he
mean,
can compete.
man. Okay, so I
think
guess
TJ.
let's take a look at this.
But if TJ leaves, Dashy leaves. So
Yeah, I'll probably put OpTic as well. I guess that would give us a consensus bottom 3 teams, but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say the Guerillas. I mean, are the Guerillas? Do you have the Guerillas next or Toronto?
Ultra next for me.
Really?
I do.
really,
I think I'd put Guerillas.
I might be putting too much stock into when Saints came back. But I just they looked really impressive. Saints brought back the like slaying role that they needed, and they seemed more of a
Cohesive unit.
than before. But at the same time, though, I totally see where you guys are coming from putting them there. I guess I'm more optimistic of their ceiling now than.
I mean, I would put them in the same tier though. So like,
Yeah.
I would put Ultra up next tier, but I'd put them in the same tier, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the rest of the teams there, and you're like, well,
I'm debating between putting Paris in their own tier, if I have to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe Paris.
I thought
and-
about that too. Yeah,
I just feel like Paris is so far below everyone. Maybe that's just not correct, but even Surge, I feel like Surge would beat Paris.
I know. That's why I want to see
Right?
that matchup so bad. Surge v Paris. Like you think Surge would win, but Surge they don't win. So who knows?
Oh man, the hype.
That whole
Yeah.
the Surge versus OpTic will be fun. Surge versus Paris, OpTic versus Paris, OpTic versus Surge. Those will all be fun matchups for me.
Yeah. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna. Paris is officially in their own tier,
Wow.
and then I'm having Guerillas, Surge through Guerillas, and their own tier as well.
Dang, bad news. We're not getting a Paris v Surge match this year. It ain't happening.
Unfortunate.
Paris v Surge. That would be
Our
the
only-
best matchup, though.
Our only hope is London, but they would have to meet. They'd both have to get out of their group, so it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Dang. That's the matchup of the century right there.
Yeah, that's tough. Wow,
That'd be
it's
so fun.
I could see the argument where Paris is in their own tier. But are they like? I mean, it just feels impossible to say that any of them.
Yeah, like the counter argument would be: are Surge and OpTic really that far ahead of Paris? Like really
worthy enough of a tier?
Yeah, probably not. It's probably more of just how I'm feeling.
It's
right
hard
now.
for me. I'm gonna wait a second to tier more of these. I feel like I need to get a few more teams in here to populate the list a little bit. But
Rex, who are you putting at 8?
it starts getting juicy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for 8, I'm putting Ultra.
Okay, so we have a consensus bottom 5.
I think so.
We have no outliers at this point. We all have Ultra, Guerillas, OpTic, Surge, and Paris as a consensus bottom 5 teams.
Yeah, this
is where it gets tough
weird
and potentially controversial. Like, it gets really tough here. So now you're looking at like the New York Subliners, the London Royal Ravens, the Minnesota Rokkr. Then you're like, okay, is that a tier? Maybe you've got like the Huntsmen, Empire, Mutineers, FaZe. Like,
I'm gonna come out
where
hot
are these
here.
tiers here?
I'm gonna come out hot here.
You're coming out hot here. Wow, that's tough. What a fall from grace.
I think Rokkr is 7.
He put Rokkr at 7.
I'm debating between Rokkr and Ravens for my 7.
Rokkr, Rokkr is like the saddest story of
Really is.
They were the darling. They were the darling for the first half of the year.
These guys were like
so good.
They played so well together. They were beating FaZe on LAN. Like, holy cow.
When FaZe was dominant.
Yes. And then they just, something happened, man. Was it the online switch? Was it some internal? Is God or X not,
I mean, we didn't really get a fair shake of the Rokkr. Excuse me,
they
of the
lost
Rokkr.
to Surge 3-2.
Yeah, but they didn't have Alex playing.
That's
That
true.
was his thumb injury.
That's true.
So it's like we didn't really get a fair shake. I mean, they lost 3-1 to the Empire with Alex there, which I mean, again, that's a fair loss. I mean, 3-1 Empire. It was contested overall. I mean, you took the hard point off of them, which is solid. So, I don't give up my hope on the Rokkr. Rex, wait, who do you have here?
I think I'm going to put the
you have
Ravens.
the Ravens. Yeah.
I think I'm going with Raven.
It's a solid pick.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's got to be either Ravens or Rokkr at this point. I would put Ravens. I'd put Ravens. Wait, you're putting Ravens in the Ultra and Guerillas tier?
That's what I saw.
Yep.
I was just gonna ask you about that. Are you really doing that?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I wish there was like 6 tiers because I think Paris is like a very bottom tier.
Just
and then I'd put like Surge and OpTic a little above that. Then Guerillas Ultra in their own tier, and then Raven and Rokkr in their own tier, and then there's gonna be a lot in the second tier, I guess, than the top tier. But
yeah, Rocker's got to be in 6th, right? I mean, are you gonna put London in 6?
I'm
we're
putting Ravens in 6.
We're flippy flopping
Yeah.
here. So Rex has got the Rokkr at 6 as well. Sam's got the Ravens at 6, but Rokkr at 7. So we're kind of flipping here. Now we've got a consensus bottom 6 teams.
We do,
which means that we have a consensus top 6 teams.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. So we're on the kind of the same page here. Surprisingly, actually, I thought there'd be some more hot takes from Rex, honestly, but we'll see what happens here. I guess there's still hot takes to come potentially.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess we're looking at New York. We're looking at Dallas. We're looking at Chicago. We're looking at Florida. We're looking at Atlanta. Did I miss someone? No, that's it, right?
No.
Yeah, that's everyone.
Yeah.
So, Subliners at 5.
Subliners at 5. I Oh, okay. Wow. Rex is
What?
going Huntsman.
Wow.
What? I don't.
They're the best hardpoint team.
Is there really an argument like?
Whoa. Can we hear Rex's argument first?
No. Yeah. Well, no. I was gonna say like, can you really say Subliners are better than Huntsmen?
Yes, for sure.
You just say yes louder.
I really think if they were to play against each other, Subliners would beat them. Huntsmen have been looking, I think, weaker and weaker.
Haven't they beat them
when they've
multiple
been
times?
playing? But now with Pristini, like they won that one tournament, and that's when they were like in the honeymoon phase. But after that, I don't know. I don't see them. Like Subliners look really strong. These like top two, like this tier 2 teams are looking stronger than the like Subliners look stronger.
Hot
FaZe
take.
look stronger. Empire looks stronger. Mutineers are stronger.
The Huntsmen beat Subliners 3-1 in the semifinals with their first tournament with Pristini when they beat London.
Yeah, the first tournament for Pristini. I bet you next time it doesn't happen. Bet Subliners beats.
Here's the thing, though.
Wow, that is hot take.
I think a lot of people are putting,
Yo, you guys got to make a bet. This is the bet. The next tournament is July 10th. That's a long time. But July 10th, we will do hottest operators if New York
beats Huntsman.
Beats the Huntsman.
finish higher than the Huntsmen.
Oh, you know that's happening.
We
All right.
know that's happening?
All right, the bet's on. Let's do it. What?
They play. Oh, perfect. They play in the same group.
There you go.
That's perfect.
I
All right, deal's on, boys. The next hottest operators is in the books.
had a point to make.
Huntsman might. Well, never mind. We can't talk about them. We'll see.
I mean, side note, the Huntsman group is whoops, I lost it.
What was
The Huntsman group
point?
is not loading for me.
Oh.
It's Ravens and Rokkr.
London, Chicago, Subliners, Rokkr. Not easy.
Cool.
No.
My point was, a lot of people were dogging on Huntsman for losing to Florida 3 times.
Yeah, but they're Florida.
I know, but like here, that's my point. If you're willing to say that Empire and all of them are so far above Huntsman,
Rex, I'm surprised you just did this.
it's very
Do
hot
you want
take.
people to hate you?
It's very hot
I
take.
really think Huntsmen are an overrated team.
Oh, he's doubling down.
I think they
I'm
were,
scared.
but I think now it's starting to see like
I think now we're kind of simmering.
Empire and FaZe were just I've been constantly destroyed by Mutineers too. So I don't know.
We'll
I mean,
see. I
the
don't know.
Huntsmen-
I've been
I
what I've
respect
seen
it.
from their scrims, they kind of lose, and like it doesn't seem like
I
it
mean,
really goes
obviously,
that great for them.
The
The
loss
vibes
to
are higher,
Guerillas
but
is
like,
the question
can you
mark.
really?
Yes.
Who's keeping up with Mac Melts on the Huntsman?
Say it. Say it.
Hot boy. No, but I mean, again, the worrying loss was the loss of the Guerillas, which they lost 2 S&Ds to them
Mhm.
and the Dom, right? They lost the 2 S&Ds and the Dom to them.
I think so.
Or no, they lost the second hard point on Hackney.
Oh, they
So
did.
they lost 6-1 on Arclov. They lost the second hard point on Hackney, and then they lost the Dom or the S&D on Gunrunner. So it's like that was a worrying series. You're like, I mean, definitely there were some fluky things that happened potentially, but it's like you lose 6-1 on Arclov, that ain't fluky.
Rex, what did you do? Rex, did you screw up your?
Yeah, I did. I can't.
I'll get it. I got you. Don't worry. There you go, buddy.
There you go.
But yeah, so it's like I don't know. I just don't see where the Huntsmen's. I mean, that's the worrying game. So if you're gonna nitpick that one game, you're like they lost to the Guerillas in their last game, then I guess that's your best argument you can make.
Yep.
But like,
I mean,
they
just
were
look at their
search and destroys.
movement. Envoy's the only one that I think can keep up with their movement. Like, I don't see Scump being able to keep up with it. Formal's not going to keep up with it.
Man, where did this come from?
Pristini's not going to keep up with it. Pristini's fast, but that's all he is. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe just because I feel like I haven't seen them in a while. I don't know. Maybe it's a recency bias, but these teams are starting to look like pretty good, especially Subliners are starting to look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably put Subliners here at 5. It's like
Subliners can, at some point, beat any of the team.
that's the thing, though.
Maybe minus Mutineers.
That's what is crazy right now. Is I feel like they're just as much contenders as like Empire or Huntsman right now, and probably in almost as much as FaZe or Mutineers. Sam, who do you have it for then? Are you putting the Huntsman at 4?
I guess I have to.
I mean, you know, you're looking at Empire,
Empire,
FaZe,
FaZe.
Mutineers, and the Huntsman as the 4 teams left here for me and you.
Yeah, because.
And Rex, are you putting the Subliners at 5? Or I mean at 4?
I think it's gonna be Subliner. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just hard to, like, with the recent events, FaZe have beat Empire, right? Recently.
Yeah.
And then Mutineers destroyed FaZe.
Right.
Is there like a more clear 1, 2, 3 here, or is like?
You know, what's the argument for it not to be that 1, 2, 3? Is that what you're trying to say?
What's going to go into your guys' mindset to not have Mutineers, FaZe, Empire?
I mean, it would.
3?
I don't know, because I mean, the Mutineers, they beat the Huntsmen, and then
they beaten Huntsman.
Then
Empire.
the Huntsmen beat the Ultra. Then the Huntsmen lost to the Guerillas.
Yeah.
You know, Empire. They lost to FaZe in Minnesota. Then they also lost to FaZe in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
So they've lost back to back.
Yeah.
Who else are you going to be putting there, Josh? You've got to put Huntsman there. There's no way you can make an argument for any other team.
FaZe beat New York. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I feel like you almost have to go that way at this point, and it feels like it's kind of going to be consensus.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I would imagine
that's our argument too.
Huntsman.
How do you not have
Empire,
1, 2, 3?
FaZe, and then the Mutineers? Which who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? You know, back in like March, we'd be talking about the Mutineers as the best team in COD.
And
I know.
I think they're in their own tier right now.
That's what I put them at. I put Mutineers in their own tier.
Oh, I probably need to reorganize my tiers then. Yeah, I mean, here's what we got now, everybody on YouTube. I mean, that's the thing. I meant sitting at that. This is tier 2. They're all in one tier. I think. Maybe are the Subliners in their own tier?
I don't know. I just debated that in my head. Like, I have Subliners like in tier 3, but then I also had them in tier 2. But I'm like, FaZe Empire.
Like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like that kind of feels good for me.
You're putting we'll never agree on Huntsman being in tier 2, I don't think.
Yeah, we definitely will.
If Huntsman are in tier 2, I feel like Subliners gotta be tier 2.
Yeah, see, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But like at the same time,
I think
the Huntsmen last beat the Subliners when they last played.
I think
2 weeks ago.
I think my tier 2 kind of makes sense.
All of them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what mine would have been.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yours kind of makes sense, Sam. I'm not against yours, but if you're gonna put Huntsman in tier 2, you gotta put Subliners.
I agree.
Really?
I
mean,
yeah.
the Huntsmen are the best hardpoint team. Subliners are probably the
same.
second best hardpoint team, debatably. Besides, I guess you could probably say the Mutineers are the best hardpoint team. I mean, let's do that. Who do you think is the best hardpoint team? Give us their top 4.
Well, I think Mutineers gotta be the best hardpoint, right?
Okay, Mutineers 1, Huntsman 2. I would go Mutineers 1, Huntsman 2, Subliners 3, FaZe 4. But FaZe is the best balance of all 3 game modes.
Where do you have Empire with the
5
with
hardpoints? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. That makes sense.
I mean, you could argue that FaZe is better at hardpoint than the Subliners. I wouldn't be against that, but the Subliners look pretty dominant in hardpoints lately.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this is what we're looking at now, chat, everyone out there. I mean, I'd be okay. I'm totally fine with saying putting Subliners in the same tier. I mean, last time we saw the Subliners, you know, they lost to the Mutineers 3-2. They beat Toronto. They lost to FaZe 3-2. They beat OpTic 3-1. At Minnesota, they were not at Minnesota. And then at Seattle, they lost to Huntsman 3-1. They beat the Guerillas 3-1. They lost to the London Royal Ravens 3-0. They beat Seattle 3-1. So based off performances, it's like they're hanging in there, but they're not winning them.
You think Huntsmen are in the same tier as FaZe and Empire?
Yeah.
You're insane.
They have the advantage in hardpoints.
I mean, FaZe is going to beat Huntsman every time. I could see Empire and Huntsman maybe. Like, I could see Huntsman winning
I just don't know because
I just don't see FaZe ever losing to Huntsman.
I don't understand that
If-
argument at all.
If you're comparing
What's the logic?
Huntsman, Empire, and FaZe's performances to Mutineers, FaZe got slammed by Mutineers, and Huntsman have at least been close every single time versus Mutineers.
Huntsman would have got demolished if they played in the tournament. They would have gotten demolished.
I mean, they've played.
You can say that,
They've played them
but
3 times and have been. I'm pretty sure 3-2 every single time, or 3-1 maybe one of those times.
So I mean, FaZe is more than likely going to win their group. Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
FaZe has Legion, Ultra, and Guerillas. Huntsmen, Ravens, Subliners, Rokkr. So what we would need to happen to get a FaZe Huntsman match is probably FaZe to win their group and then Huntsmen to lose to either London or to the Subliners / Rokkr.
You know what's really cool is that Maniac is on a tier 1 team. OpTic Maniac.
Crazy.
Gotta point out the Halo guys. I do love me some Maniac though. I mean, he's hilarious. 100%. Should get him on the pod sometime, you know.
You should. Yeah,
I
that'd be
know.
awesome.
Yeah. You know, he loves talking so much COD. You know, he's a
Yes.
COD expert. He's a COD pro.
He is a COD pro.
It's crazy. But all right, guys. Here's the last look for everybody out there at our tiers list here. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's your biggest gripe with ours? Everyone give our biggest gripes if you have a biggest gripe with anyone's. I guess our biggest gripe would be Huntsman for Rex. It may be the same for us for Rex, right?
I'm gonna clash with everybody about the Huntsman thing, but like, just look at the gameplay. Huntsman, like, they're not there.
I don't know. I just
They can
don't
win
agree
the
with that at all.
easiest tournament ever, but like, give them a real tournament. I just don't see them competing with FaZe, Empire, and Mutineers. Like, not at all. Like, I just don't see it happen.
I think they'll be right there with all of them.
Well, yeah, I guess my rebuttal would be they have been right there every single time. I don't know of a game where they've been just blown out of the water.
It feels like
Empire, they got 3-1'd.
like this tournament, the way the gunfights were going in this tournament and the way people were winning them was so just like weird that like Huntsman doesn't do like weird stuff like that. Like they don't have that weird movement that FaZe does, like Shotzzy's doing and Awakening's doing and Pharaoh. Like they don't have that. And like that's what it is. Like that's what you can see. These teams that are getting good have these players that do these weird movements and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
see
Huntsman should have
being
must
able
have
to
left their
keep
Cronus Maxes back at home. They must have forgot them at the LAN.
up. Yeah, we didn't even talk about potential cheaters. But
Josh, my biggest gripe with you is that you have Ultra and Guerillas in the same tier as Paris, unless I'm colorblind.
Well, I mean, you are colorblind.
I'm colorblind. I'm pretty sure those are all in the same tier.
I
They are in the
have
same
all
tier.
5 of them
Weird.
in the same tier here.
I thought that's wrong.
I mean, it's I do my sorting of that tier feels right. Like that tier is a big tier. Like I wouldn't have a problem with somebody splitting these up like you guys did.
you should definitely split those up. Ultra
I mean-
versus Paris, like Guerillas versus Paris. Like, I mean, come on.
I mean, Paris took a map off London.
Wow.
Yeah, nice, bro, nice.
They took a map off London. They at Seattle. They took a map off the Huntsman, and they took a map off OpTic Gaming.
Nice.
So I mean, they're losing 3-1s. It's not like they're getting blown out. And then in
Not like
Florida,
they're getting blown out. They
in
won
Florida-
one map.
they took a map off FaZe again.
Nice.
And then they're only 3-0 of the past 3
It's
events
so
was
weird
OpTic
that
Gaming.
Paris took a map off FaZe.
That is weird.
Twice.
Twice.
like,
Twice.
I did like because like now like just like I couldn't see it happening at all.
They're Call of Duty
now.
pros though. I mean, like at the end of the day, it
I
happens.
know they're
The
pros,
pros,
like,
bro.
But like clearly, like FaZe
Rex, they're
was
pros.
so much better.
I don't really think there's an argument you could really definitively say that. I think the Surge and Paris could be in their own tier. I think that's more reasonable.
That's the matchup of
My-
the century, really.
my-
Surge versus Paris.
Really, my Really, my
Really, that
gripe
is the
is
most interesting
having
matchup
Ultra-
for me.
and Paris in the same tier. I feel like Ultra is at least a step above Paris.
I don't know. So if I do this, I'd be okay with doing this. If I do that, and then how does this work? Am I missing it? Okay, so I'm missing a 3, so I got to turn this into a 3. So I'm just kind of moving things down here. And then a 4 is this. I'm okay with. Whoa! What just happened there?
You know what's crazy? The Empire, like,
All right.
I don't know how Empire wins anything. Not gonna lie.
There's my official list right there.
I'm okay with that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's a little better.
It's a little bit better. I mean, how the Empire win. I mean, I agree. I did a top 15 players of COD video today, and I mean, like, I didn't put Hook inside my top 15, so I'm sorry, everyone out there. I'm sorry, but that's what I mean. Like, you know, based off this list, I mean, you know, they only had one. It was Shotzzy, but I mean, again, he's top 5. So
Yes.
If you have one top 5 player on your team and you have a bunch of really good players, kind of like Gen G last year, you had one top 5 player in Envoy. And then you had a bunch of really good players.
Obsessed. Everything he knows about Envoy facts.
Did you know Envoy has saved 47 trees in his life?
Oh, jeez.
No, but yeah. So I don't know. I think that it's kind of like it's never like Empire rarely blows you out of the water because like they've only got one guy and they have to rely on that one guy to slay out while the rest of the guys do their thing.
But it's weird. Empire. That's what makes Empire so weird. Like I always watch them. Like, dude, like how does Empire stay in? It's like they're playing hard points and like the other team's like moving cracked out of their minds. I'm like, how is Empire even in this game?
They keep choosing Ramazza hardpoint though. Somehow they keep ending up on Ramazza hardpoint.
They didn't do it this turn. They said they weren't going to.
Ramazza S&D.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If ILLeY was the player that people were expecting him to be, then they'd be scary.
Great.
Oh, if ILLeY was like a definitive top 20 player,
Yeah, that would be scary.
they would be
ILLeY's
scary.
ILLeY's not. ILLeY's like
It's
he's kind of
unfortunate.
stupid.
In
ILLeY's kind of stupid.
S&D though, I mean he makes some fun plays. I mean on that Piccadilly,
Yes.
some of those snipes
He's
he was
a
hitting
ballsy guy.
was
but he,
nuts.
oh my god, that Piccadilly S&D.
Yeah,
It was so good. I loved that S&D. Versus FaZe and like the Simp battle with the snipes. ILLeY was killing it. He did so good.
no, I agree. It was awesome. It was really awesome.
Just a fair warning.
But
my
his
laptop's gonna
respawn
die
games
here
are
in
not-
like 2 minutes.
no
So
picky.
Yeah.
When has it ever mattered?
no, never.
Never. But yeah. So I mean, overall, I guess we can move on to Scump here. How far are we into this?
I feel like we're pretty.
I want to talk
Hour
about
15.
Scump. We can go for these 7 minutes. I mean, come on now. We've been pushing this hour limit for a while now. We basically overflooded. All right, so let's talk about Scump for a little bit. On this Hecz podcast today, he was on the eavesdrop with Hecz today and talked about some of his retirement. And he basically said, like, quote for quote, was basically like along the lines of, you know, I'm contracted till the end of next year. I'm on a 2-year contract. I'm playing COD next year. Like, so good news is he's not retiring this year, which I mean, I guess was sometimes always everyone in the COD scene's worries that Scump's going to leave us before we're ready for him to leave. And then the COD scene's going to take a massive hit in viewership. I mean, he probably commands like 10 or 15% of the viewers himself, I would imagine. If not more than that, potentially. But he basically said, yeah, like, you know, I'm going to play till the end of this next Black Ops game. And then he said, after that, it's my call. Like I'm going to make the call after that. And he said, Hecz asked, like, what's the max you'd play? And he says, probably like max would be like 4 years, you know? And he says, it's like, I don't really want to ever transition to an AR, but like most older guys do. So it's like, do I really want to do that? You know, so he was kind of talking about all that. And like, then he said it kind of depends on the state of the call. Like next year with his decision, it would depend on the state of Call of Duty, the state of gaming in general, like depending on like what other games are out or exciting or interesting to him. But I mean,
does he play other games? I don't even know what else Scump does.
He has.
I'm
But
not sure. Like
recently-
currently, I don't think he is.
Currently, no.
Warzone
good in
would be
any
his
other
other
games?
game.
Warzone
like-
is the only thing he really plays.
Yeah.
Is he ever known to be good at any other game?
He was pretty good at Fortnite when it was like
Was he?
everyone in the world was playing it that time, you know. He was playing quite a bit of it, and I know people liked watching him play.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you give him a controller on any game that is made for
yeah.
a controller, he will be nasty.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of what it is. But I mean, he was not convinced that like he was gonna play after next season. There was no convinced thought in his mind that after this next Treyarch game is he going to play on another Infinity Ward game.
Yeah.
You know,
Makes
so I mean,
sense.
I would imagine it might depend on who the next developer is after Treyarch, which we don't know yet who the 2021 developer is officially. Whether or not it's Sledgehammer coming back or whether or not it's Infinity Ward coming back with a game right away.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your guys' thoughts? Like, I mean, first of all, do you believe Scump would retire next year? And
I think it really depends.
How would it affect the league?
I think it depends on how good the game is. Like, if you can get into it. Like, I think the game has to be like, this is basically the moment for, I think for a lot of these players is like final straw moment.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll play this game. We're going to play one more game. If this next game isn't like good and like competitive, then there a lot of them are
Yeah, we're going to lose a lot of those older guys, like the J-Caps, the Hecz, like Enables of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe those types of guys, that's when their careers, I could see after next season potentially being like a big shift in players. If I agree, especially if this Treyarch game isn't as good as everybody is kind of hoping for it to be. I mean, it literally feels like people are like putting all of their hope in their careers in this next Treyarch game.
It's almost like they're gonna go on like a player's like not like kind of just like a walkout. They're just gonna go. It's like this game sucks. It's like everyone's just like all their big brand names, all the big people are like, all right, we're out, and then we're gonna be stuck with people we have no idea who they are.
Yeah,
we're gonna be stuck with like the Awakenings and the Mac Melts, which like great players. Don't get me wrong, but they're not entertaining.
Yeah, building
people.
a league
They're
on
not
those guys is tough.
Yeah, no one's been. They're not have no names built on them. They're not, personalities people care about. So I think they could take a hit from that. So and honestly, it might be good for a Call of Duty also. Might be like, okay, we better make this better,
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's like some sense of urgency. But I mean, like, if you lose Scump after next year, that's a big blow to your growth as an esport, though, right?
Yeah, I'm curious what these other players, what they would do. Like, Scump can stream, like...
Yeah, but, like, is Enable, is Hecz, is, like, what are those guys going to be doing?
Yeah, like, what's, are they just going to go into normal life?
I hope next year's not Enable's last COD. I like Enable. Oak boys!
Oh, jeez.
Don't ever do that again.
Don't ever do that again.
Big shouts. No free shout-outs for Oak boys.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think Scump retires next year? Like, is it just impossible to tell?
The game.
Literally. I think you're right, Rex.
It's solely
if he's gonna enjoy it, because again, guys like Scump, Formal, these guys, they don't need the game to live. No. So they're doing this now purely off of passion. And so after this next Black Ops games, if he's just tired of the grind, whatever, of competing, he doesn't enjoy the game. He sees the
opportunity with something else.
Opportunities. He's got the fan base to stream. There's no reason for him to keep competing anymore. It would be awesome if these COD pros that are, big names still keeps interest in Call of Duty.
Helps driving it towards competitive.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But of course there's no, they have to.
Well, yeah, I mean, like one example that he brought up in the podcast was like, a guy like Nick Merckx, like inherently he left, he was kind of like, he did the whole Gears thing. Yeah. Then he started streaming COD and then he stopped playing COD to go play Fortnite. But now he's back on COD and bringing 40,000 viewers with him daily. Yeah. So he's actually helping COD grow after leaving COD for 3 years. So it's like a weird kind of paradox that like him leaving for 3 years actually is now helping the COD grow more.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, what if Scump leaves, then in 3 years he has 10 million subscribers on YouTube, comes back to COD because he loves whatever COD comes out, and now suddenly COD's insanely popular because Scump's leading the way.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Maybe that's possible. So maybe same thing with Karma or something like that. Like those guys, like, Shroud, he leaves CS and he like multiplies in popularity by like 10 times after retiring from CSGO. So it's like there's a catch-22 there, which potentially like guys blowing up and then actually making their esport more popular because they left. So
true.
That maybe is the upside at the end of the day. But I mean, imagine a COD League without Scump in it at this point. It's kind of scary.
It'd be crazy.
I mean, I know for me as like the thumbnails would never be the same. Oh man, it's you can literally tell the difference when you don't have Scump in the thumbnail versus when you do have Scump in the thumbnail. Like it legitimately makes a difference.
That's pretty funny, honestly.
Yeah, so
Makes sense.
So
We'll see.
Scump's going in this thumbnail.
Yep, Scump's gonna be in this thumbnail for sure. So know that. Welcome if you guys are in here. Just know, check the thumbnail. You'll see it. But well, I guess I can wrap it up for today. I mean, we could probably talk more. We were gonna talk even more and extrapolate on Black Ops Cold War. But hopefully we can finally do it next podcast. I want to actually save some time to talk about Cold War because
when do you think they'll announce it? Like when?
I mean, at some point in these next week or 2 or 3, we have to hear something. It's almost July. Like I said, literally in COD World War II, we were playing Black Ops 4 at Anaheim last week. Yeah. So like, it's crazy. We don't even have any more information about this game. But all right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this next installment of the Best of 3 podcast. If you guys did, drop a comment down below. We do appreciate all the reviews on Apple Podcasts, the comments down below on YouTube, sharing your thoughts, and we just appreciate all of the support everywhere. It helps this podcast grow and helps us continue to keep doing it, which we always do appreciate it. Sam's out here tired, yawning, embarrassing.
Jeez.
But as always, guys, I'm Josh, SalvationsElite. To my right is Bash, _Bo3, Sam, and to our farthest right on your left side of the screen is Rex, ShadyNero, and guys, we will see you next time. We out.